Just like how we got another day, another episode. This thing is
Wise Guy 60. 381 episode. We're so close to 400.
How are we still on 300?
I know, man. It's been going on forever, but less podcasts, better quality.
300 really fast.
There you go. But well, today we're joined by the usual Wise Guys. Today we have the OG team. We have Saeed, Paco, Abbas, Sherif, Ameer, all over the world. Brought to you by these two dweebs.
The Wise Guys. Look at it.
Before we start, I just want to let people know at home, we are very neutral.
Disclaimer
based on how we feel about the whole Ukraine-Russia situation, and so the show has nothing to do with, or does not whatever we say here does not impact or inflict the show. Its own entity.
Also young, and we don't know what we're doing, so pretty much don't take our word for whatever. Yeah, we're just talking about some of the things that happen.
Let's start with the question, and let's keep it to a yes and no, and then we'll dive deeper into it. Where do we stand on the whole situation, starting with Saeed? With or against what's going on?
Could you phrase that better? Like, what do you mean by against who?
Are you against or with the Russian invasion of Ukraine?
No, I'm against the Russian invasion.
Okay, Paco?
I'm in between. I'm not with, I'm not against. I mean,
fair.
Everyone has
Abbas?
their idea. I'm against the Russian invasion.
You're against. Sherif?
Significantly against the Russian invasion of Ukraine.
And finally, we have Ameer.
Yeah, sure, man. I'm against.
I will say, it's way more complicated. Well,
now we jump into where we stand on, because I'm the same as Paco. I'm in between, personally, but let's talk a little bit about it. So this whole situation started with Russia invading Ukraine, right? Let's regard the past, present, and the future of where this whole thing can go. Boys, floor is yours. How do we feel? What's going on?
I mean, innocent people are dying. Like, innocent human beings are being slaughtered. That's one. And two, I mean, this is war. More innocent people are always gonna die in war. That's the sad part. But the bad thing about this whole situation is how is it being covered in the West? Because people are dying everywhere on the planet Earth. That's the sad part. Whether they're dying in the Middle East, whether they're dying in Africa, South America, Southeast Asia, So
suddenly, when Europeans are dying, it's a big spotlight on it. Yeah, it's been happening in the Middle East for 40, 50 years.
Yeah, that's the saddest part to this whole story. Now you woke up to because white people are dying. No. You have to look at innocent people are dying. Innocent people are dying everywhere. So
100%. Man, I saw a video.
That's why I'm against it, but why I'm with it is war. Because it's war. That's why I'm with the idea. That's why I'm with neither. Because no side is better than the other. There's faults on both sides.
No, man, I disagree with that. Ukraine is just defending their home. They didn't do anything, in my opinion.
Yeah, so is Palestinians, and so are Syrians.
But the thing is, Palestinians, they have disagreements on... Palestinians as a whole have disagreements with Jerusalem and Israel as a whole, as a society, about who owns that land. While no Russian is with Putin. Putin is doing this by himself.
Countries together and all right. It's not like Russia is invading Palestine, taking over Palestine, or Turkey is like the Ottoman Empire, how it fought to get the lands. It's not that. It's when the European powers after World War II came together and gave the Jewish people of those countries their own land. That's why Paco was established in 1947, I believe, or 43. I'm not sure.
These are trivial details, man. The fundamental idea here is that Palestine and Israel as a society as a whole disagree on who owns the land, right? That they call home.
It's not who owns the land. It's more of an invader coming in, taking their land, as if it was like in the 1800s and the 1700s, and Spain went into the new lands.
No, but the thing is, that's the thing. Why is Putin doing that? Because he believes Ukraine does not have statehood. He believes they're part of Russia.
No,
that's not the only reason.
It isn't the only reason. It isn't the only reason. Because they were going to join NATO.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, Russia was also threatened by the West, mainly, obviously the other European countries and USA, how they were encouraging all of the countries that are neighboring to Russia to join NATO. And Ukraine being so close and originally being a territory that they also want, if it joined NATO, then they can use military like they can perform military assaults to reclaim the Crimea. So that's one of the things as well. So so Russia was basically threatened because NATO is pushing much closer to their borders, and obviously they have that fear because there's so many Western countries against them, which is natural to think that way. But the tactic that's used obviously is a bit it's just too much, I would say. The tactic of basically taking complete invasion, that's over the top.
Oh yeah, that's so extreme. It's like there's much better way to go about all of this, no
I don't know about a better way, but like I don't think there's any way. I don't think there's any good way of taking over a country.
Let's give him a chance. Sherif, what you want to take a country, right? You want it back. It used to be yours. You gave it their freedom. They didn't.
So he doesn't necessarily want it back, though. Well, he wants to overthrow the current government. That's his main.
Yeah.
Fair. Okay. 100%. Well, so what's a better way to do it then?
I don't know, man, but I'm sure there's a lot better than even if he took over Ukraine, he's gonna have the whole country. He's gonna try to impose a regime on the Ukrainian people. There's gonna be splinter groups. There's gonna be rebellions. It's like you can't invade a country of people.
He has a lot of supporters.
First of all, the West has done that for years.
Only in eastern Ukraine. It's not that big compared to the rest of Ukraine. It's just a few in eastern Ukraine. There's a few supporters of Russia, yes, but it's not a lot.
And he's more concerned with eastern Ukraine because that's where he has access to the Black Sea. He cares more about that.
It's all economics. It's all economics. What's in Ukraine? Ukraine has port cities, has uranium, has a lot of gases, and these resources are useful.
Yeah, it's true, but still, it doesn't represent the majority of the Ukrainian people. So it's like he's gonna have a very hard time.
It's definitely not the most intelligent way. I mean, it's a very 1940s approach for Mother Russia, type of send in the Yuris to conquer.
Yeah. But then his entire all of his people. Bro, a Russian billionaire put a $1 million bounty on his head. A Russian billionaire.
Yeah, outside of Russia.
He did that because of the economy, bro.
Everyone's very conflicted, obviously. Even the Ukrainians and the Russians are conflicted about whose side they stand.
Bro, Russians are not conflicted about this, man. There's no Russian with Putin, man. No way. What?
Like saying there was no Iraqi with Saddam Hussein. That's like saying there was no Libyan that was standing with Muammar Gaddafi. That's like saying a lot of. That's not. It's like saying no German was with Hitler at the time.
Have you seen the Kremlin?
The Kremlin is pro Putin, right? And it's getting
no. Have you seen like what's happening around the Kremlin for the last? I don't know.
Yeah, but bro,
wow.
Okay, yeah. If you have some people protesting, doesn't mean they represent all of the supporters.
You can't live on assumptions. The only vocal.
I'm not saying Putin's better, but media makes the picture bigger than it really is. It's always done that. That's why propaganda is such a big thing. Yeah. It's always a necessary thing.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to governments. Because CNN and all these media outlets, they play a big role to the populace. Because the populace relies on these formats.
I will show you what's happening. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, there's a video of an apartment tower in downtown Kiev being bombed. Imagine you wake up, you have a wife cooking, you have your kids playing in the fucking living room, and boom, the lights all ended.
Yeah, but so you know about this, and everyone on Earth knows about this. But there was also not too long ago an explosion in the Bay of Beirut, and
in Palestine and Ukraine. You know what? I wish there was
in Palestine.
I wish there was this hysteria for every time this kind of thing happened, right? When like a powerful person tries to bully the less powerful and try to take them down in a way that's like wrong and degrades people of their freedom and dignity as a human being. We're past that. We're in 2022. I wish like this kind of reaction is what I want to happen in China for the Uyghurs, in Yemen, in Palestine, all over, you know, where these things happen. You know, and then, you know, I understand it happened in Ukraine because it's European and, you know, it's got more hype, but, you know, I don't think them getting more hype detracts from, like, takes away attention from Palestine. I think it's the opposite. I hope that it opens people's, you know, eyes up even more so that they can be like, wait a second, this is not just happening in Ukraine. This is happening, you know, in all these places. Like, look at Palestine, for example, or look at China, or
bro, I saw a video. I think you guys sent it on the group or something. One of you. It's like how this, like, I don't know, British reporter or news.
Yeah,
reporter,
no.
like,
who was that? That guy is famous. Used to be a YouTuber too. I forgot his name.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, he's saying like, oh, this should only happen in the Middle East.
We expect to see this kind of stuff in the Middle East.
Yeah, like that's okay. That's characteristic. That's normal there. But if it happens in Ukraine, it's like, oh no, what a travesty. Even though, like the guy said in the video, it's like Europe's entire history is bloody as hell. They have something called the 100-year War. And
it was so ridiculous, bro. It was like white people with blue eyes who watch Netflix. So that's
like the average person. It's like we don't watch Netflix back home. Hey, my dad watches more Netflix than anybody in the world.
Oh my god, dude!
And I watch Shahed.net. That's why I don't watch.
Shahed.
What the fuck is this bullshit, man?
Yeah, I think
I actually wanted to make. Yeah, go ahead, Abbas.
No, you can go, Saeed.
I wanted to make a comment about Ameer. You said previously about how Putin wants part of the agents. He wants what's it called? He wants the agency. He wants like a route to it, access. Yes, that's the word. Thank you. But I don't think that's the main reason, because I mean, look at the economic sanctions that have been placed on Russia right now. It's crippling the economy. They're taking them off the SWIFT bank transfers. Germany stopped a $10 billion oil pipeline from Russia. I mean, people are the Russian population is now, the economy is being affected even after 1 week of economic sanctions.
Sorry to interrupt you, Saeed.
Well, yeah, he definitely didn't think it through as much. Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't want to say he didn't think it through, but he went in with, again, like I said, 1940s mentality. So it's not just an economic interest. Obviously, he's 100% sure he can regain the favor of the other European countries and the US eventually. So he's just betting on time to settle that. That's the first thing. And then the second thing, he also wants it for military purposes too. It's a great port to have, man. Like, it gives you access to a lot of strategic positions up there, and so he'll be able to put Turkey in danger as well from there. So I think we'd need Haejl for this, man.
Civilization's master. Command and conquer.
The worst case scenario in all of this is World War III, obviously, and nukes being used. So after a quick Google search, it takes 100 nukes or nuclear warheads it's like the pragmatic limit for like any country
to be wiped.
Yeah, like no, just a country.
I don't think nukes are gonna be.
I don't need 100 to wipe a country.
Dude, it's literally right here. This is how many nukes it would take to destroy society. This is by the New York Post. New research argues that 100 nuclear weapons is the pragmatic limit for any country to have in its arsenal. Could ultimately devastate its own society. So that's a country. Russia has 6,527 roughly nuclear warheads. That's not even counting the US, Pakistan, India, China.
Pakistan Zindabad.
Yeah.
Right?
No, bro, I think there's something wrong with that. You don't need 100 nuclear weapons to destroy a country. It's like much less than that. Like, especially nukes are much stronger than they were.
To completely wipe a society. That's what we're talking about. Not just destroy the country. You can destroy the country, but the people are still there. Exhibit A.
Bro, I mean,
right?
Look at pictures of Hiroshima. No, listen.
Yeah, Hiroshima.
Pictures of Hiroshima, like it was like
it's so bad.
It was like
you just got what I was talking about. Right?
Yeah, I got you, bro.
There you go.
Like points at all the Arabs in the fucking Zoom call, which is all of us.
Right? But like it's crazy. So the way I see it is if this whole shenanigan with Russia and Ukraine goes out, China's gonna eventually take back Taiwan, number one, right? And then they're gonna go for Hong Kong, right? That's them. India and Pakistan are probably gonna talk about. So who's Kashmir's again?
It's happening. They're fighting. Yeah, they're
already
fighting
over Kashmir.
What else is gonna happen? You probably have. We lost Ameer.
He froze.
I was just about to talk about Saudi Arabia.
He knew it. Literally, he was like signing out.
Saudi Arabia and the rest of the GCC countries were in the bag, right? Because we have deals with everyone. So it's like, hey, we still want to maintain our deal. Y'all do your thing.
They probably ask you guys to like pick a side, you know.
I don't think so.
They could, because like what people can do is like if you don't, they'll bully you. They can threaten other countries by saying like
true, but we choose peace.
We choose peace.
You can only afford peace.
What's causing the thing between India and Pakistan?
Kashmir.
Kashmir.
Yeah,
it's basically like when me and my little brother fought over a toy that we both don't know who it really is. But we're just like, that's mine. No, it's mine.
All right, Ali. The Khalij is not like Afghanistan. It's not like Iran. It's not like Lebanon. Syria is hard to conquer too. Khalij is one straight piece of land. It's like Egypt.
Basically,
it's a sand. It's a really big
mountain range is nothing. Yes.
Mishna Asna,
basically. When USA went to Iraq, it was easy for them because it's not that hard to conquer and demolish something flat.
The only way I see
for Afghanistan, it took 20 years and they lost. Look at Vietnam. They couldn't take Vietnam because it was a mountain. It's hard. Israel, when it came to Lebanon in '83, they lost. Now the Christian population in Lebanon, Saadun, but I might be wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
But in the comments, correct Paco.
Yeah, they lost, bro. You have to understand that they cannot afford to lose because they don't have anything to fight back. What are they going to fight back with? A few jets? And Russia can come and conquer.
I don't know, man. Right. It is like way more powerful. They are way more powerful. But who knows, man? I mean, as you said, all these examples, right? Afghanistan, whatever. It's like, you never know, man. And it's like now they have the support of the international community. Who knows? Maybe Ukraine can win.
That's why they will be like, they're going to be neutral or they're going to go with the West and hope for the West to protect them. And they probably would because there's so many bases in the Middle East anyway for the West.
Oh. So what do you think? You think Ukraine standing up for themselves and fighting, you think maybe that's a bad idea? They should just have just given it to Russia, been like, okay, we don't want more?
No. I mean, if they want to survive, they have to have external, like the NATO forces, the European
Union.
Union.
Munitions, man. Germany also mobilized $1 billion for its army. That's the most they've mobilized in terms of funding for their military since World War II or something.
Switzerland came out of the fucking bushes and was like...
Switzerland, 70 years of neutrality. They're now on the side of Ukraine.
Ukraine, right? Dude, what else?
Germans are out to... Like
the Germans are starting their military again, and the last two times they did that, we both know how. We all know how.
They mobilized the war fast.
No, but I mean, are they allowed to do that?
I mean, if it's for the UK interest, which is for the NATO interest, then they're definitely allowed. Because end of the day, they're the ones who put the rules, right?
Bro, I'm just imagining Germany rolling out the old elite Panzer crew all the way to the Ukraine. You know?
I imagine what's her name? Angela Merkel just walking to like this huge secret facility, and she just opens, like presses a button, huge door opens, and then in German, our time has come.
We are back. Make Germany great again.
Boys. We are back.
Popular demand. Yeah, anyways.
But yeah, we're back. I like that.
World War III, man. No one wants it.
So another topic, another thing that also comes to mind when we talk about it. Yeah, go ahead.
Abbas had something to say that I cut him off earlier.
I was talking about like how this war opened our eyes to a lot of different things. You know, it's not just, you know, it started off like Russia versus Ukraine and why the hell would he bomb innocent civilians? But now it's it went into 3-4 different things that we're talking about: the media, the way other countries are being affected, and all of you guys brought up a valid point. Like Ali was saying, this is gaining like other countries are also being brought into it. This is a good thing, you know. It's not a bad thing because now there's a lot of
shines a light on things that we have to
no,
talk about.
it's a bad. Listen, hey, it's a bad thing because
it
World
is a
War
bad
One
thing.
started between two countries. So did World War Two, and then
I
now
know.
you know.
But now, like, people
That's
are being aware of all of these other countries that are in war, you know, and that have been in war for so long. But it's also, you know, I get sad because why is this Russia-Ukraine thing so different than all the other wars, you know? We've been talking this over.
No, really, it's not
time.
different from. It's similar
It's
to the
not
main
different.
wars that they teach us in school, right? So they taught us.
Yeah,
World War
it's
One,
not different.
World
I
War
know,
Two,
but
whatever.
Yeah, but bro, this is the first time in history EA Sports removes the national team.
yeah, bro.
Alright, let's talk
you know,
about
World War.
right.
Let's go a bit
different.
into this whole situation. So everyone stopped fucking with Russia.
Right, pretty much. So how do you guys?
There's one that blew my mind. Oh, which was it? It was like
Apple?
Italian university that removed Fyodor Dostoevsky's books from the library. It was so fucking stupid because Dostoevsky was brutally like he was anti-war, but he was also brutally. What do you mean, like? He was imprisoned by the Russian government. by Russians all his life.
Yeah.
No sense, bro.
Yeah.
No, it shows how stupid people are because also everywhere else they're removing Russian players or sports who have nothing to do with the war, bro. Like in Formula One, there's a Russian driver. They actually fired him. What? He has nothing to do with war, bro.
And he's probably against the war too, probably.
He's
Like
probably
the
against
tennis
the war.
player. Have you seen they wrote "No war, please" on the camera?
Yeah, exactly. Like
Not yet.
it's very stupid. Like Ameer is saying, like
You want to know what's the worst of all?
Yeah, poor Formula One guy just sat on his bed right now doing.
You know what? You know what's funnier than all of this? Apple stopped fucking with Russia, so no more Apple products being sold. But
Disney.
Apple, everyone's on fucking Android in Russia, so I don't know what
It's
the
a
fuck.
good thing
you're
there's a
crying
better
about.
alternative to an iPhone.
Yeah,
How are we?
actually.
Yeah,
you know, there was a-
yeah.
it was
Trying
like-
to use it.
I might stop fucking with iPhone at this. No, I'm just kidding.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
there was this meme that they said Adidas stopped shipping to Russia, and everybody, Putin was like, "Oh, we have to stop all this war because of the Adidas tracksuit."
Yeah, tracksuit. Always wear a tracksuit.
The squatting
Listen,
pose with the cigarette and the.
Honestly, what breaks my heart about the whole situation isn't that Russia and Ukraine are at each other's throat, is that the attention the media has been. Even the way they word things, the way they say this is supposed to happen in the Middle East, like this isn't supposed to happen anywhere on Earth. What do you mean this is supposed to happen in the Middle East, right?
Right.
So everyone's so now we argue back. Why is this more important than what's going on in Palestine, Yemen, Syria, Iraq, of all places, right?
Europeans are.
I think Europeans are seen globally as more like, you know, of a higher, you know, class of
No,
society.
because they
More white?
conquered
That's
everybody and they
basically-
Civilized.
they taught people when they conquered them that they were better. In reality, they are nothing without us.
Mhm.
You have to understand that the East need the West and West need the East. So no matter what, we need each other. We should work with each other and stop treating each other in the
Right,
wrong
man.
sense.
What,
Like,
what about the
Marcus
what about the
Garrett.
South? What do we do about the South? Do we
South of what?
south of everything of the world? You
He
said
said
east and
south
west.
and north. They just like yeah.
Yeah, north and south.
South and North, I'm gonna consider that East and West. I'm gonna consider that East and West. South,
Yeah.
Southwest or
Listen,
South.
let
Bro,
me-
عندك Africa, عندك South America,
let me
عندك
answer.
South
Let me
Asia.
answer here. Let me answer Saeed for you, Paco.
I'm sorry. There's so many countries and like a whole continent in the south, you know. Like
What's the whole continent? Australia used to be England's jail. Shut the fuck up.
no,
No.
disregarding
big-ass
Australia,
jail,
you have
bro.
Africa,
It's a really big
you have
jail.
South America. It's literally called South America, so like, you know.
Imagine Nathan Drake getting like Fucking directions from Paco, bro. Just go east.
Follow the wind. Just follow the wind from the sunlight.
Bro, do not say that. Do not say that.
Go east.
Saeed laughing at that.
Right.
No,
So,
bro.
boys, not to
everyone's
cut you
involved.
off or anything, but the next most important thing we need to talk about is, will Sami go to war with Finland? Or Finland?
I
No.
don't know if you heard. Has any of you heard of the meme he made? Have you seen the meme he made? TikTok he made.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw
yeah,
it.
TikTok?
Yeah.
I haven't.
Sami has
Saw
a
it.
TikTok.
Tell them.
Do
Share
share.
it.
I think
Wait, can you
days
send
ago,
it to
the
me?
one
Send
we
it to me. I'm
Send
gonna play it right now. Send it to me.
I
I'll
need
move
to.
it.
He removed it.
He removed it, but it was basically the Ukraine war playing on TV, and then with the war email of the Finnish army. Y'all got an email.
He got from the Finnish army with the American, war music in the background, like the victory music. When they come home from the war, it's like, and he points, glances over to the computer with the email, from the Finnish government saying, Russia has went to war with Ukraine. And as a reminder, he might be deployed soon. As necessary for them to aid.
So why does he want? Why does
Bro, didn't Russia threaten Finland as well?
No.
I think they threatened
Yeah, they
everyone.
did.
Even nuclear, they threatened.
Yeah, if
they
like
went-
anyone mess with us, we're gonna destroy you, pretty much.
Yeah, but there was also like I remember seeing somewhere there was a direct threat to Finland, and I think another country, maybe Sweden.
Because they're on the border and they're close enough. Yeah, literally. Like, don't mess with us.
Finland is on the border.
Oof. Maybe Sami will go to war in Finland. Hopefully not.
Nah, I don't think
They're training for it. So
Man, no one wants war.
I don't think Finland would go to war in general.
Right.
Why?
Unless
Why?
World War III happens.
They would.
We'll see the after effects. We should. I mean, yeah, like Ameer, you were saying that how Putin is relying on time to deal with the Western leaders, but they're approaching it with the policy of appeasement, similar to how World War II happened. So if Putin plays this right, he can actually learn from the mistakes of the past. No, I don't know. Don't worry.
We're going. Me and you are on the same wavelength. Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep preaching. Keep preaching.
Keeping it clean. So he's learning from the mistakes in the past, and he just, is taking over Ukraine for now. We'll see what happens
You know
in the
what's
future.
funny about Putin? He doesn't have to invade Russia like Hitler and Napoleon.
Yeah,
he doesn't have to invade
if
Russia,
he
I
actually
agree with
goes, he
that.
doesn't need to do a war on two fronts. It's just one front that way.
Yeah, like he just has to go.
I think, to be honest, I think his first target would be Moscow. Yeah, my opinion.
Yeah, honestly, I don't
Bro,
know.
guys, can someone screen share what I sent on the thing? It's very relevant and it's very funny on the chat.
Once he put in, he doesn't put out. Am I right, boys?
Yeah.
That's true.
That's
Putin, you never put out.
Jeez.
Paco. Hold on.
Saturday detention for you, bro.
Sunday detention for you. Yeah. Share sound, Ali.
I will. Share sound.
Me,
Go here. And then we do
Manuka.
this. And then, hey! Language.
Oh, yeah. I thought we were on this podcast.
O kurwa!
What did he say? Oh, kurwa?
Fucking presses the button, nuclear assault خلاص. بالغلط. It's amazing, man.
Oh, Kurwa. That's what this is.
Amazing, but it's terrifying.
Kurwa is
Sherif.
Kurwa, I
Polish.
think.
How is this
Polish,
relevant?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
my question.
It's the first target, Poland. It's just like,
Yeah,
oh
bro.
shit, here we go again.
Oh, bro, my sister's in Poland.
You're what?
This is my favorite comment. I don't know how to read it. I'm just gonna send it in chat, but this was my favorite comment on the post.
Matthew. Hey, what?
Piece of enchantment or something.
Matthew McConaughey.
Red Indians.
Oh, hey.
Right, so boys, if it arises to a fully blown all-out war, who's fighting, who's staying home?
I will be in my refrigerator, like Indiana Jones.
I'll be doing this podcast, reporting on.
You'll die.
I'm gonna
I'll
finish
be
the
by your
data.
side.
Live from under a warhead.
I've already decided I'll be working for the Russian army, washing their tanks, man. Someone's got to keep the dust off.
That's true.
Full time.
I'm in Grenada.
Yeah.
Chopping trees.
One love. One love.
Buffalo soldier.
I mean, you know, it's a little crazy to think about that. 100 years ago, we were all the guys our age were all in war. You know, like for all of history.
Oh man!
Like,
not even guys our age, younger.
Yeah,
Younger
I mean,
than
younger than
Bro,
us. Yeah, like
I think there's a Roman emperor. He was younger than us when he conquered like half of.
Alexander the Great. He was
bro,
16.
He wasn't Roman, bro.
What did you conquer, Sherif? And you're like 27 or 25.
Yeah, your right hand on porno.
I don't think.
no.
Wait, what?
Ali, send it on the chat. No, yeah, literally.
You guys, my mom watches this.
My mom watches this podcast. Yeah, man. What do you guys think of? So, like, we talked about how they like blocked all of Russia pretty much, and like all the Russian people are like pretty much
Doesn't seem to phase them. That's the answer.
I don't know, man.
People are
protesting.
We want iPhones that we can't afford with the Russian ruble. No one's.
No, trust me. Rich people in Russia are gonna have iPhones.
True, but they probably already got the iPhone 13, so it really doesn't matter by now. And we're talking about rich people and Russians. They can probably just smuggle it.
Well, man, they can smuggle it, but even the rich people, dude, they're being cut off too, right? I mean, you're talking about the billionaire oligarchs; they're all getting screwed over because all their international accounts are now frozen. All their international states are now taken away from them.
Some of them actually don't support what's going on. For example,
And
Roman Abramovich is not with the.
You're a Russian that owns.
Yeah, he had to sell Chelsea.
Dude, streamers.
Yeah, he said he's gonna sell Chelsea.
Streamers and YouTubers who are Russian that don't have anything to do with the conflict nor support it. They can't get their YouTube money anymore, or their stream money, or their Patreon money.
Yeah,
or some of them their OnlyFans money.
Wow. Okay.
Basically.
Wow. No, it's true, and it's like,
Devastating.
and you can't like even the media is being cut off, right? Like on like Facebook and Twitter, they've all like banned like Russian news. You can't even talk about Russia or, you know, all Russian news is pretty much banned. So I feel like that's kind of also scary because like. You don't even, you want to know what they're talking about, right?
You want to know what they're thinking. Yeah. We don't want to be like, I don't want to see on BBC like, oh, the Russians have decided not the Russians. Let's be less assholes about the whole situation. Putin doesn't want to invade or do anything anymore. And then you look outside your window, it's like, oh shit, there's a warhead coming right here. Right? Because let's be honest, Western news is full of shit and Arab news is starting to be the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone knows the answer to this, but if you're a Russian and you own American stocks, can you sell them?
Even if you did, you can't get the money.
Okay, yeah.
Because they can't. Yeah, it's
the whole Russian stock market
everything
also shut down. Yeah, everything shut down. So crazy.
Everything is wow, man. They're gonna cease to be a modern society soon.
I feel bad for the OnlyFans peeps that Ali was pointing to, because now their lines must be like, you know, stop nukes, send nudes. Yeah.
Yo, Ali.
I'm see you next week, Paco.
See you next week. Have a nice night, guys.
You too, man.
See you, brother.
Adios, man. Heck yeah, let's go.
Yeah. But basically,
do you guys feel once the billionaires get involved, will it make the situation in Russia better or worse?
No, because the billionaires, Putin has turned a blind eye to all of the bullshit they've been doing that got them rich, right? So for them to now bite the hand that's keeping them out of jail, it's it's like, are you smart in doing this? Like,
it's for their image, man. It's for their image.
But their image
Putin is willing
shit.
to go against the whole Western society, Western just alliances, single alone, and this decision to attack Ukraine. I don't think he cares about the local Russian oligarchs.
Rich boys, basically. They're rich because Putin turned a blind eye to all of their shenanigans.
Who do you mean exactly, man? Are you talking
All
about
of them.
The oligarchs, the billionaires, yeah.
They're basically the Russian billionaires.
The mafia.
So.
I
Yeah.
don't know about all of them. I just know about Roman Abramovich. So I can't.
Abramovich
say
has
anything.
some controversial shit, man. Yeah.
Exactly, which Putin has every right to be like, tal, yeah,
Jail, oh, كلكم jail, yeah.
yeah, right?
Yeah, man.
So now you're
So
saying,
basically,
oh,
Putin
fuck.
is against everyone. Like Russia.
Who's he
It's
for?
literally Putin took me against the world, very literally.
Very literally.
Called Pilgrim once
Yeah,
again.
but so you're saying that there's no Russians who are involved with like Putin and what he's doing?
I mean,
No,
no,
there
there
definitely
definitely is.
Yeah,
There definitely are.
There definitely is.
There always is. Yeah.
But
There are Lebanese
But,
people who are pro Putin.
yeah,
There are
there are.
Kuwaitis who are pro-Putin, believe it or not.
I feel
Yeah.
bad for one of our friends from high school. He has family in both. I think you guys know what I'm
Ukraine
talking
and Russia.
about. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be one fun family dinner to watch.
Right, exactly. That's kind of terrifying because they are kind of like, I mean, the borders are strange because a lot of it is mixed, right? I know a lot of people who do have like a family in Ukraine and in Russia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
By the way, there are
Oh,
Russians fleeing Russia right now, but because they stopped all the flights because they're gonna impose martial law, they're now going by cars and by trains. They're going into I think Finland.
Oh,
That's insane, yeah.
it is kind of insane.
yeah, but it's end of the
So
day.
Ukraine, So Ukraine and Russia, they met up twice for peace talks, and none of that worked. What do you think is gonna happen from here on out? Like,
I don't believe the peace talks because they started a war.
Yeah,
It's like peace talks. I don't know. I don't think that's gonna work.
you guys
out, to be honest.
realize
Yeah.
the French president Maca bullshit tried to go and was like, "Hey Putin, can you not do what you're about to do?" And he was just like, "Bye." Like this
Yeah.
I
actually
just had to
happened.
talk to him, and he's like, in the press conference, he was like, "That's why Macron is here annoying me, bothering me today."
Annoying me.
Allah, bro, it's
No,
amazing. Look at this.
listen.
It's amazing.
But by the way, here's the fun details about this whole situation. So Macron went to Russia, refused to do a PCR before and after taking off, right, and landing. Demanded
Hoping
to
to
see
kill,
the Russian
Putin
president
with COVID.
immediately, right? And when he was told that he cannot sit next to Putin, he threw a hissy fit because he was like, "I'm the French president." No
Mazboot,
one
he sat on
cares.
a huge opposite ends of a
Yeah.
table, if you guys saw it.
Legit.
By the way,
the-
he did actually do a PCR test. He just didn't want to do a PCR test at the Russian PCR test. He did
Right.
one
Might
with
kill him,
his
yeah.
own team.
Assassination or something.
No,
What
for
do you
like
mean?
DNA purposes. They don't want the president's DNA. That's
No, he might have been scared that like they put something in his nose with the PCR test and kill him like that.
The DNA makes more sense to me. Yeah.
Just
But
knowing how
by the
brave-
way, Putin sits like that in all of his meetings.
Now
always
he
sits in
does.
No, he always does.
Away.
Yeah, it's for. There was this Russian specialist that was commenting about it, and he was saying that it's mainly to do with like preventing assassinations.
I mean, he was part
No,
of
it's-
KGB. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So he's probably a paranoid guy. It makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But like, cause like 30 meters is way too much for social distancing. So I really doubt it's for
You need a megaphone to talk to each other. Literally, might as well
That's
use
really
Zoom.
long, yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
man. Like 30
Guys, I don't know
meters.
if you know this. Ukrainian President Zelensky was on Dancing with the Stars Ukraine. There's a hilarious meme.
Yeah.
I saw. It's like a former KGB colonel can't invade a country with the president who was Dancing with the Stars, and he's like this. He's like,
Bro, he used to be a-
this.
He used to be a comedian and an actor before becoming president.
Yeah, as well. Yes, I saw that too. Yeah.
You have a bright future.
Steel, man, صراحة.
تخيل
تخيل yeah.
next thing you know look انا قاعد محل ميشيل عون شو شباب
لا.
Now, wait,
man.
but guys, I wanted to bring up something that I was talking about. So the last Ukraine and Russia meeting, they plan to do a humanitarian corridor where people can flee Ukraine, and all the other
While
places
those
are free to
negotiations
be
were
bombed.
happening, they were still bombing Ukraine. By the way.
Yeah, and then now this is on Western media. Now they're accusing Russia of bombing the humanitarian corridors. So people are like going crazy right now, and I don't know.
Also,
If this is
you don't
true.
know what's true, what not exactly. I don't know what news
Yeah.
is true anymore. That's kind of the scary part too, right? Like, what if this is real? I mean, you want to believe what you see, but it's just like the terrifying part of it is that you don't know any of the information is propaganda, right? It's like
Exactly.
and I'm sure it's complicated with the Ukraine situation because, like, when of course there's this image of like, okay, Ukraine got independence in 1991, and you have all these young people that feel like they're part of an independent Ukraine, and they want to be independent and part of the EU and their own, westernized country because they're young, and that's what young people like, to be like America. Versus like the older people, right? They're, a lot of them are more pro-Russia because they were in Russia. They were part of the Soviet Union. That's where they were born, in the Soviet Union. And so this is kind of the messy part of it all. And it's like you think about all these things and like who has special interest where, like, like does the media really support Ukraine, or are they supporting it for some extra reason, ratings, or to sell things, or
is it for the love of Ukraine or for the hatred of Russia? That's also another thing.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment, Abbas. You were saying how they made this hallway of what's it called?
Humanitarian hallway corridor.
Where was it located?
I don't exactly know. I can't tell.
Because like if it was on the borders, like that's where it should be, obviously, since people can get out of the country.
Yeah.
But on which borders? Like anyway, the location is important because like at the same time, Russia will also consider what if the Ukraine is like sending out soldiers through that hallway to like
to the country.
I get you.
Yeah, for like spec ops missions or some shit.
Yeah, I get you.
Bro, watch Putin hold them hostage
Russia?
if that happens.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure the Ukraine has special forces of their own. They
Yeah,
don't.
but they're probably not gonna do shit. Like, no offense, but like we're talking about.
That's
Russia.
not the point. It's for intel. If you want, it's
man,
intel.
Ali.
That's not the
We
point.
keep saying we thought it's Russia, but bro, it's taking them so freaking long to occupy a city.
They held back.
It's probably because they didn't send in their real soldiers. They just sent.
Wait.
Yeah, but
You
like
guys,
Ameer said,
you guys are saying it's taking too long. It's been only like a week. How fast do you expect the country to be invaded?
Destroyed
in 2 hours. Afghanistan. Overnight. Yeah.
Ukraine is being supported. Afghanistan.
Give me a second. You're saying 2 hours, right? In an hour, he destroyed every military base, camps, training sites, air bases, anything to do with the military with just rockets, without sending a single soldier.
Ali, but destroying military targets is different than occupying a country. It's completely
If your
different.
country
Everyone
has
knows
no
that.
military, then it's easier, no?
Makhas, the people will always find a way to revolt, and they will always find a way to get weapons. Doesn't matter. You will. Occupying and maintaining the occupation is not simple. If you look out throughout history, it's very obvious. Why hasn't Israel taken over Palestine already?
Yeah, more so now than before, though. The guerrilla tactics and the guerrilla warfare of underground militias and just the military using covert ops to deal with the occupying forces. But we don't know that yet, to be fair. It's still pretty young.
It's still pretty early. And I mean, I will say that it's like the one thing I didn't notice that's the difference between this and like all the other things we've talked about on the podcast, that for the first time I saw the president of a country actually stay with the people and fight a war with the people.
Steel, man. Right. Man, it's very admirable. He's a hero. He's gonna be martyred if he dies. Man, there was like 4 assassination attempts.
But we never know if that's actually fact or fiction.
Right, you don't know.
Could be just to make him look even better than
propaganda.
Exactly. All
but what is fact is he did contact Israel for a plan B.
Oof. Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
What's a plan B?
Yeah.
Plan B is
50-pound pill and boots.
50 what?
I don't know, man. He's putting his life on the line, dude. He's literally if what he says is real and he's actually there in Kyiv, as he says he is, and he's fighting with.
He made a video. He was like in the middle of the street. There was like you can hear bombing in the distance. Downtown
That's
Kyiv,
true, right? I know, editing, whatever. We're in 20 like. It's hard to believe a lot of the things, right? But
that's true.
if it is true, and he's with him, that's different than every single thing we've ever heard about, right? Because Justin Trudeau, whatever, some truckers come in and he flees the country. How many times does that happen, right? Where flees the country every time. They all flee the country, but for him to stick it with people, that's actually kind of.
It's very admirable, man.
It's very admirable.
Heroic,
yeah, it's heroic, and
Bro, there's a hilarious picture. It's like this. It's like a picture of like a huge, it's like a mark of a penis, a huge, like on the ground, like on concrete, like cement on the floor. It's like the title says Ukrainian paratroopers when they land from their air jets. Like this is tremendous. Like say, like they have balls of steel, which they do, man. They actually pushed them back. They didn't let Russia was not able to invade them in the first week. They pushed them back in the first assault. With more casualties on the Russian side than Ukraine.
Oof, yeah, man. So many. I mean, also all these things are hard to know, right? Like what's true, what of the reporting of the death, whatever, because it's all media hysteria. But it's like, I mean, obviously Russian people are dying, and I did find out that like a bunch of the families of these Russian people, they're like protesting and stuff for, hey, don't send my kids to die in Ukraine, but even they're getting arrested for doing that. Yeah, pretty much.
The one thing I can commend the Ukraine for doing is they allowed all their prisoners of war who are Russian soldiers to go back home to their parents. Right, that's the one thing I can actually commend them for doing.
Who?
Ukraine.
Yeah,
prisoners of war.
So they had prisoners of war now or from before?
No. Like now, after the whole invasion, when they pushed back, they got prisoners of war. They're like, hey, I'm not going to kill you. Go back home to your mamas.
They sent the Russian prisoners of war back.
That's insane. I don't know why that doesn't sound like a good strategy to me. They're going to just come back.
It's not a good strategy because they're just going to go right back into the army, learn their mistakes, and be better soldiers, right? Like...
Not only that, you'd feel like they'd want some vengeance on the people who were trying to kill them, like letting them go. Wow.
Yeah, no, it's true.
That's also, it could be looked at in many philosophical ways, which is why we have Ameer here to let us know his thoughts and opinions.
Got pushed in it.
Kill him with kindness, I guess.
Kill him with kindness, right? The art of war.
Yeah. Boys, I think we've run out of time for today's episode.
It's been a long podcast.
We will, again, remain very neutral in terms of everything that's happening.
Disclaimer.
No, because
do you guys want to give opinions of what's going to happen in the future?
All right, let's talk about the future of what's going to happen.
Predictions.
Yeah, okay, fine then.
Predictions. Yellow, everyone show their prediction.
To be honest, I think he's probably going to try to take the Ukraine and then, let the tension go down. Wait like a decade or so. And then maybe he'll try to make another move.
Right.
I think Ukraine will concede eventually. There's going to be too many losses, too much fear of nuclear. He's gonna concede, I think.
Abbas?
Yeah, I think it's the way it's heading. I think the West is going to interfere even more, and Russia's going to get pissed off. I do think so.
I hope not, though.
I hope not. I know, but I think that's what's going to happen, because the West just doesn't know how to
shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
No, not that, but they don't know how to de-escalate situations in a good way. They like to go guns blazing. We're the best.
Oxman, they've been just doing economic sanctions and stuff. Well, they haven't been escalating the situation.
I mean, that's pretty huge.
Yeah, but
it is pretty huge.
That is huge. Yeah,
but you can't start war based on that.
No, it's like legally you cannot. It's actually part of international law. Yeah. You're allowed to do economic sanctions.
Right. So here's how I see this whole thing going. If you would all take a look at your screens. So we already have this phase 1. I discussed this pre-show.
Yes,
phase 1 is happening right now. China's probably going to want to, take Taiwan and Hong Kong back. So that's going to put more stress on the United Kingdom, and they're going to be backing Russia. As long as everyone does what they want, no one interferes with the other, we're teammates. You have Pakistan and India, they're going to be fighting over Kashmir again, right? We look to the United States is probably not going to interfere at the beginning of the war. They'll just wait for the, World War II and World War I, basically. They're just going to wait it out, see what happens, and then they'll decide on whether to jump in or not. Argentina probably wants the Falklands so bad because it's the UK's property. And they're going to be joining, I believe. I don't know. This is my prediction. Don't take it to heart.
This Argentina thing.
Yeah, we'll pull this up.
World War 3 and 4.
Yeah. Ali, what you're predicting, that literally we have 10, 15 years of war in our future.
basically, which is where I see this whole thing going.
So I should quit medicine and just stop studying.
No, because you have
we
2 more
doctors.
years, then you get
have
your
a lot of
degree,
work.
but then khalas, don't do any
New
specialization.
World of Warcraft expansion happening right on Earth.
That's very good.
And that's the way the news goes.
Mاشي.
Thank you very
Let's
much.
Amir, do you want to give us your prediction? I know you didn't give
Oh
us
yeah, I
your
think
predictions.
Zelensky's gonna die. That's my
Oof.
prediction.
Very
Oh,
specific.
Very specific one. Yeah, we're gonna pull this up in a year and see
Amir's like
who
Nostradamus.
got it right.
Right.
I mean, I will say it's my prediction too. That I
Go
predict
ahead.
that. Well, for me, I feel like Doctor Strange, where he's like, there's a million possibility. A million could be, yeah, literally, yeah. So it's like, I don't know,
Which
like,
is the one we win.
right? All the one like there's so many things that could happen. Literally, what all you guys said was so different from each other, and it's all within like possibility, right? It all could happen. I just feel like life is so unpredictable, and I did not see this coming. This invasion came out of nowhere, and it's like,
Actually,
who knows?
It was always tension.
Tensions were high for
Tensions were high, right? But tensions are,
This Crimea, man. It's
there are a
been
lot of
8
places where
years.
tensions are high. There's tensions high within the United States. You're telling me there's going to be a civil war?
I was having a conversation today with my friend, and he was thinking like 5 years ahead, 10 years ahead, 15 years ahead. I'm like, bro, chill. Like, if you just look at what happened in the last 3 years.
Right, all of it unpredictable. You couldn't,
Yeah, there's nothing to predict.
Yeah.
Man. Like,
right, like with COVID and I don't know, man.
tomorrow,
Right, I feel like with COVID, kind of, I think it like boosted the media. I think it boosted like all things like podcasts and like. I thought it brought the world closer together, and it's like
Not Canada.
not Canada, right? But it's like, and it's like we're all gamers here, we all play video games, right? And it's like when you're playing video games, but you play with people all over the place, right? We could be playing versus a Russian player or whatever, but you don't go like, oh, you're Russian, I don't want to play with you, right? You just you play the game.
I'll be very honest. If I join an arena and a Russian player plays with me, I quickly check his stats. If he's decent, I'll stay because he's probably better than the average. But if he's complete shit, I will leave.
Bro, honestly, playing on Nordic East League server is a bit difficult, and with all the,
I miss my Soviet Graves account on the Russian server.
Soviet grave.
Right. Yeah, it's like we're all closer to each other than we think, and I like part of me hopes if I were to have a prediction, like a hopeful prediction, I'd feel like all this kind of stuff is from the older generation, like Putin's from a time he was in the KGB. This is how he thinks, right?
Yeah,
like
for sure.
all these like
But
dictators and
it's
they're
tactics, man. That's what it is.
They're gonna die.
They're against it, though. There was a lot of old Russians that are against it, though.
Right, but Putin is in the KGB, right? And that's kind of his mentality. And I feel like slowly over time, like when was the last time we had a war, right? Like like a major war like this, not in a long time. And so hopefully after this we don't see one for an even longer time, and we slowly get out of that mentality and go into a more worldly, more humane mentality, because I feel like that's what the majority of what most people want, and if that's what the majority of most people want, that's probably what we're gonna get.
I hope so, man. Unless someone reacts like crazy, like Russia, man. He actually mentioned nuclear force,
right? And then there could be nukes, and none of that makes sense.
He put them on high alert, basically. He's like, hey, stand by. This
It's okay, guys. Everything is unpredictable except for Bitcoin. Invest.
Going up.
No financial advice.
This is not financial advice.
Obviously he's joking. But Ali, you were saying that a lot of the older generation are doing these things, but aren't like the younger generation they're still involved in this? Like who's in the armies right now? I'm not my 50-year-old dad or
right, but
anyone.
People like dad. I mean, soldiers, individual soldiers, they're taking commands, right? And they're also brainwashed. And Putin's probably a genius at propaganda and like
but I mean
and brainwashing people. And I don't know, like again, like the individual soldiers, in my opinion, I've read a lot about like history and about all the horrible things that have happened, and it's very complicated to it's because we all have it within us, right? The capability to do something evil, to do something dangerous, to go out and hurt others. We all could do it, but we're making choices not to do it. If the choice to do it becomes much easier than not doing it, then I think a lot of us would do it. Right?
That's part of
Yeah,
the
but
thing,
Ali,
keep
we
yourself
don't
away
hear
from
this.
that.
Ali, we don't hear the stories of the soldiers that choose not to participate. We never hear those stories.
That's true. Yeah,
Especially, and I'm pretty sure like the media is not going to cover those effectively.
In World War II, it was covered a little bit, right? About the Nazis.
No, I mean like right now, for example, in Russia.
Right now, yeah, it's too fast and too soon. But like, you know, time and history and the truth will come out eventually. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just hope that, like, I do feel like, I don't know if it's just me and I feel it, but I feel like there's just, everyone's a lot more anxious, a lot more, you know, scared of everything.
Nukes, like, what do you do with nukes, man? Like, it's so terrifying.
Yeah.
I showed an infographic video. It's like a nice animated video. It's 8 minutes to really show you the practical level of destruction. One nuke over one city. It's a war. Just one nuke over one major metropolitan region. What with the amount of destruction it can do. It's absolutely terrifying, man. I'm sure my family all wouldn't believe it.
Mashie Sherif. So can I ask you this? So if you are like with COVID and with the nukes and with the war, are you gonna like you know, live your life differently? I know, Habib, we're gonna wrap up, but this is a pretty important question. Are you gonna choose? Are you gonna choose to live your life like you're gonna die in any moment and such?
100%.
Live chaotically.
I would call a lot of people I love, and no. I want it to be a nice ending. I don't want to just be hedonistic. No.
Right.
I'd sit and like spend like a day with each one of you. Like, if I had like 2 weeks, doing something I really always thought of doing. You know, playing like top lane, like doing with like the guys' league at least once. You know, once a day, 24 hours, bro. You know, having a movie marathon with you, Ali.
Let's do it.
Yeah, bro, play Haejl, you know. Like,
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1.
Bro. Why not?
Yeah, man.
Sniper
you said it. You said you do something meaningful and not hedonistic, right?
Yes.
That's an interesting choice, you know, because I feel like a lot of people would choose the opposite, right? They feel like the world's ending, let's go crazy and spend all our money.
Pleasures. Man, superficial pleasures don't make you happy. They just pleasure, but it's not happiness though.
So, Sherif, question. You said you had to wait. You would wait until like the last, until you have like 2 weeks. Why don't you do this from now?
No, I'm assuming it's just 2 weeks. Like.
Yeah, just start doing it from now. Regardless of your deadline.
Oh yeah, of course. That's of course. Yeah, that's the perspective into Anna. When I think of my death someday, it's very motivating to, you know, try to get some things in my life together that aren't together. You know, and that's true for all of us. Studies show that if you're thinking of mortality, your own mortality, or just the idea and concept of mortality.
Remember death.
Well,
yeah.
Memento Mori.
Mashie.
Thank you for watching another episode of A2 The Show. If you guys enjoyed this episode half as much as we enjoyed filming it for you, please do like, subscribe, and share. Special thanks to all the A2 boys, the Wise Guys crew, for jumping in on today's episode. It was nice to have you. Peace, love, happiness.
Adios.